Hey, Ren.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So, welcome back, everybody, to our mini series here about the saboteurs, about how they interfere with our holiday season and what they're all about. Yesterday, we had a video, and if you haven't seen that, we will make sure to bring a link to you. We talked about what is a saboteur, how do they show up, what do we do about them, and we did a fun PQ rep with a little bit of tensing and relaxing. Hair pulling. Yeah, that was good. And to remind you, I'm Elsa Johnson. I'm a certified positive intelligence coach, and I am here with Brienna. Sorry, I keep getting it wrong.
It's okay. Brianna, yeah.
Why don't
Good.
you introduce yourself again?
Yes, so I'm Brianna. I'm also a certified positive intelligence coach and trauma coach.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, do you want to kick us off today?
Sure. So today we're talking about the pleaser, which is most of us know what a pleaser is. That's common language. People pleaser, a friend or a family, or it could be you that happens to be a people pleaser. And what we want to talk about, I'm guilty of it too. I think everyone in my family is a people pleaser, my mom, dad, sister, brother. What we want to talk about today with the people pleaser is we're going to go through the strengths of the people pleaser and then how it ends up when it's off balance, causing you problems. And then we'll give some of our own examples of how it shows up potentially in like the holiday times. And then we'll talk about some boundaries.
Awesome. So, what is a people pleaser, right? Let's start about what's really good about the people pleaser, because we talked about yesterday about that our saboteurs are showing up when our innate strengths are being hijacked. So, when we talk about a people pleaser, a pleaser in general, it comes from a really beautiful place. I would like to think that one of the great strengths of my people pleaser or my pleaser is my compassion, is my attention to other people's needs, is my ability to walk into a room and almost immediately take the temperature. Who needs attention? Who maybe need to be left alone? To me, I literally look at it as my phenomenon and saying, okay, where are we at on the scale? And not only for the room, but for each individual person. And it gives me so much joy when I can relieve somebody else of their stresses. How does it show? How do you look at yourself as a beautiful people pleaser?
Yeah, so I love what you shared. It is a very beautiful person, and there is a lot of love, very very loving and giving and empathetic, um,
Yeah.
able to see what somebody else's needs are. It's same as what you said.
Yeah. And I think that's part of what makes us good coaches too, right? It is that ability to see others, people's need before they even see it for themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's
So,
talk about the negative side of it when the people pleaser gets a little too in people's business and too much.
yes. I actually would like to bring up an example from coaching,
Okay.
and start out there because that is what we both do, right? As a coach, when the people pleasers show up, that is when you as a coach want the results more and work harder for the results than the client actually does.
I've been guilty of that.
Where you really want, oh, you want the best for them, you want the best for them, you want the best for them. And you forget what really is the best for them. It's that principle of teaching a man to fish rather than keep feeding him fish, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And we're talking about the holidays. So for the holidays, it is when you just run around like a chicken with its head cut off and trying to please everybody, making sure that, everything is right and the pillows are fluffed so they don't get a sore neck, and you do all these things. How do you see yourself being a people pleaser around the holidays?
Oh, would you like another drink? Oh, can I top up your glass of wine? Oh, the bathroom's over there. Oh, here, this.
Yeah. And what happens for
It's
yourself?
tiring. It is tiring taking care of everybody. Like,
Yes.
people could pour their own glass of wine. People could
Mm,
tell me if they're wanting more to drink, or they can ask where the bathroom is, or
yes.
people are capable of taking care of themselves.
Yeah. And we end up at the end of the day, we haven't really connected with anybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. I think that's for me, that's one of the biggest prices that I think I pay from being a people pleaser. I get exactly the opposite of what I want. I don't get that deep connection because I am too busy being focused on everything that needs to be in place so other people can enjoy themselves. So I forget to enjoy myself and relax and allow things to organically happen.
Yeah, you're busy in the kitchen cooking rather than like having a conversation with the
Yeah.
family.
Yes. So we were talking about in our pre-talk before this discussion about so how does it start? How do we do that? And we talk about the grandpa example.
Yeah.
Right. Growing up, if you had a lot of family coming in for the holidays, and if you had, when I grew up anyway, we didn't have all these big houses, right? And there was usually at least one person or two person in the family that had to give up their bed. So somebody could sleep better in your bed than you self could, right?
Grandpa, get your bed.
Yeah, grandma got your bed. And you were put on the cot and in the room, or you were put on the couch or wherever there was room for you. Yeah. And you couldn't sleep in, you couldn't get rest, you couldn't get all these things. But you sort of were programmed to know that that's what you do so other people feel good and can enjoy themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it starts, is okay. Absolutely. Yeah, I can give another example. So it's the person that, hey, where are we going to go eat? And somebody makes a suggestion and it's like, okay, when really, oh, Italian, they don't even eat pasta. They don't express that their needs are, hey, I'm gluten-free, I don't eat pasta. And so the people pleaser then can have like internal anger or resentment just because their needs aren't being met, but half the time they aren't expressing what their needs are.
Yeah. And that's the big thing, right? And then and that's why you also lose the connection with people, because they never know the real you.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're like, oh, sure. Yeah. And you can't trust people pleasers because they're going to say yes, and you don't know if their yes is a real yes because they really want to do it. Yeah. People pleasers have a hard time of saying no. So you don't know if they really want to be doing it or they're just doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what do we do about it?
Let's talk about boundaries and saying no.
Yeah. So a lot of clients, they say, well, I can say no. And they feel they have to, they have to come up with this long list of reasons why they say no. And that's still the pleaser.
Justifying it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right? N-O, period, nothing else. That's all you have to do. But I also really love something that I recently saw about setting boundaries. Okay. And because a lot of people says, well, I tell them, that I, we were talking about the example of the mother going into the bathroom, locking the door, and wanting to take a nice big bathtub bubble bath as self-care, right? That seems like, okay, I've set the boundaries, I'm going into the bathroom and I'm going to there. But two minutes into that, the kids start banging on the door. Mom, we don't have this. Mom, we don't have that. Mom, right? Yeah. So this moment of self-care, then just, oh my God, I just got to get out of the tub and go deal with this. And then I can come back in, and then you come back in and the water is cold, right? That is not a boundary. The boundary is what you set in place. It's about what you do. So what can we do in order to create the framework for ourselves? It's not about directing other people to do certain things. It's about making sure that you have set the framework so you can have that boundary. And in the case with a mother in the bathtub, right? What do I need to do so the kids don't come banging on the door? Because they will. They're kids.
Yeah.
They do that, right? Yeah. You need to either tell your partner, I'm going to take a bath. I want to be undisturbed for 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Take the kids outside, go play with them, take them to the mall, whatever, or get a babysitter. Mm-hmm. Or do it at a time where you know they're in school or whatever they are. Because if you don't, then you're just getting resentment again.
Yes.
How do you say?
I just want to take a bath. Why won't they let me take a bath? This little 5-year-old doesn't care.
Yeah.
They just want to be with mommy. Yeah.
So what have you done in order to set boundaries for yourself?
Oh, boundaries are hard for me.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is trying to say no. Yeah. Say no to things I don't want to do.
So in PQ, we talk about that it's just like going to the gym and building our muscle. So what is your suggestion for people to start making that, do the 3-pound weight on no's?
I would say build more empathy for yourself. And that means that you deserve to have your needs and desires met, which is instead of feeling like, oh, but I have to do this for this person. Well, what about yourself? So it's self-empathy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it's a matter of understanding, because connection is huge for me. I think it's understanding that if I don't say no, that person don't really know me. That person, that I'm actually building up a friendship or a connection on false pretense.
Absolutely.
And I know, and that's both in business and personal life, and just making sure that I don't necessarily buy into something right away, that I allow myself a little space for saying no. Like when people ask me to volunteer or do something, that I say, let me get back to you. That's a soft, small no for me.
Yes. Great tips. Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So today we talked a little bit about the pleaser.
Yeah, it was fun.
There's a whole bunch of other saboteurs. We won't necessarily get into them in our talks here, but tomorrow we have another one for you. And we're going to talk about a very special little friend, the contagion effect.
Great. Thank you, Elsa.
You're welcome, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.